Okay, story time, and there's some hot takes, I assure you, in the course of this little adventure that I'm going to take you on with me that I already went on. Previously aired adventure, live, coming to you right now in the present, which doesn't exist because there is no present. There's only past and future. What has happened and what has not yet potentially happened. I'm getting a little too deep. Let's back up for a second. So, I have trouble making friends in New Jersey because it's New Jersey. So, I've been going to this thing in New York where there's some really awesome people. It's fantastically gay. It's like a LGBTQ club slash hangout thing where is my cat? That's not my cat. That's like a rooster. It's 9:48. That's anyway. Yeah, roosters over here be crazy. Um, so I'm going to this place with these awesome people. It's called Girls Social and Guy Social. It's run by somebody named Joey Israel. Really cool people. They have events all the time. There's always events. There's always things to go to, people to meet, friends to make, conversations to have. Basically, like my dream, right? The only problem is it's an hour train ride away. Now, listen. The other week, when I was going to the spring kickoff of this thing, I got on a train at the Hamilton station. And this train was going in the direction of Penn Station, New York City. And I get my ticket, my one way senior disabled ticket, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be coming back the same day. I had a room over there that I had set up because I was worried about my anxiety. I was worried like if something happened at this event and I wasn't able to handle it, at least I'd be able to just go into an elevator, go up a few floors, and then be in a space where I feel safe and comfortable and I could go to sleep or I could cry or do whatever I needed to do, right? Um, so I'm on this train and everything is going normal. So far, the train isn't jaundiced. There's no signs of kidney or liver failure on this particular train. The metal seems the proper complexion. And we stop. I think was it Edison or New Brunswick. We stopped somewhere. A bunch of people got on. We're going different directions, and these women were getting on, and they sat in the area that I was sitting, which is like basically for like special needs people, like handicapped people. If you have a disabled person's ID and you have a disabled ticket, basically this is like a. It's also a quiet car, mind you. Like there's certain cars that are quiet cars, and there's certain cars that are not quiet cars. It's a quiet car. So a few of these women sit down, and this one woman with like really fancy clothes and like a really expensive looking scarf sits down like a seat away from me. So I'm over in the corner seat. There's a seat here, and then she's sitting here, and then she's like looking around the room, and I'm just over here. I'm just like, I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. I look behind me occasionally because there's like a bunch of wacky construction work. I maybe look at my watch every now and then. I do one of these where I'm chilling, right? I'm like, I don't know what if there's drama somewhere, I don't know about it. Okay. So this woman starts freaking out, and not like really crazy at first. Like she's just like she starts breathing heavy, and then she starts staring at me. And then I look over because like I can feel her staring at me. I'm like, like one of these. Hi, whatever. And I go back to just. So she gets up, leaves her. You know how when like an iguana is trying to escape a situation, it'll leave its tail behind. Like fuck it, I don't need that anymore. This woman gets up, leaves her fancy ass scarf behind, and it wasn't embroidered, but it was like a step below being embroidered with this woman's initials. That's how fancy this scarf was. She leaves it there, goes to sit across from me, like diagonal to me in the corner there, and then just starts staring at me. And I'm like, hmm. okay. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the scarf, and I'm thinking, yeah, she totally just like left her scarf there. And I'm thinking, wow, what is going on here? So she's staring at me still. And like every time I open my eyes, she's looking at me. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take my little ticket thingy or whatever. I think he collected it at that point. I'm not sure. I got up, I took my beverage with me and my stuff with me. I got up, I went a few cars that way to another like handicapped area, sat down there, and thought to myself, wow, that's crazy. Some people are really weird about who they sit next to. Um, on my way to this other area, I passed by this very skinny, very tall, dark-skinned gentleman in a very nice blue suit who was like, you know how there's like there's two layers, like there's an upstairs and a downstairs to the regular train cars. Well, he was like in the downstairs, in like the backmost seat close to the door, like legs, arms, like this boy was just like, I need all four of these seats because apparently he did, and whatever, you know. I mean, I don't do that, but I'm not going to get mad if people do that as long as they're not doing it near me. Um, so I sit down, and we're still like almost an hour away from 10. And then there's this lady that is getting on her phone and talking about how she can't stand her grandson, or like it's either her kid's kid or her cousin's kid. Basically, she's talking very loudly on the phone about how she can't empathize, or she can't feel any kind of love for this baby because it has bad genes, and she just knows that it's going to be ugly when it grows up. And she's talking with somebody, I don't know who she was talking, but she's like, oh yeah, he's like so ugly, you can just tell that he's just going to be really ugly, he's going to have really bad cheekbones, his eyes are going to be bad. It's just, I can't feel anything for this child because I just know it's just going to be horrible. It's terrible genes. And then she started talking about like the genetics of like her kid versus like the genetics of the kid that they're married to, and they're this conversation went on for like four stops. All right, it was depressing because I'm thinking to myself, this is, if a person is willing to talk like this in public and not think there's anything wrong with it, then that's not great. So, yeah, I get to Penn and I walk to the roommate Grace Hotel, which is like maybe a 15-minute walk from Penn. It's past Times Square. It's not that bad. I get into this place and the heat is turned up to the nth degree. They have free water cooler and pointy cups, like it's a doctor's office or some shit, or they're about to drug test people. And my room ends up not being ready. And I said, okay, can I pay for early check-in? They're like, no, we don't have that. I said, can I pay for late checkout? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to do that. I was just curious. And I said, well, this includes the buffet. I paid for the buffet online, so can I just go get food right now? Because the buffet closes at 12, and it was like 10 or something. And they're like, no, you don't have the buffet on your reservation. I'm like, are you sure? And they're like, can you show it to us? I'm like, work here. You have my information. You pulled me up. I mean, I wasn't trying to argue with the one, but it's like, I don't work at this establishment. Okay, I don't have the experience that people who work at this establishment do. I said, well, look, if it's not already charged to my account for the buffet, even though I thought I had paid for it, I was pretty sure it was like $12 extra online. Fine, I'll just buy it now. So she's like, okay, so you want to pay for the buffet to be added to your stay here. Yeah, okay. So they do that. They give me a receipt for that. And I said, okay, so can I go to the buffet now? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, when can I go to the buffet that I just paid for? And she was like, well, it's included in your stay. I'm like, okay, I'm staying here. She's like, yes, you are. I'm like, okay. When can I go to the buffet? She's like, tomorrow. I'm like, in the morning. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. So, I'm hungry. Do you guys have food here that I can pay for? That can I give you money and get food? She's like, no. You can go to Connolly's though, and you can get a discount over there because you have a card here. You're staying here. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And they're like, would you like to stow your stuff here? It's a small fee. I'm like, no, I think I'll take my stuff with me. So I go over to this place called Connolly's, which is like an Irish pub place. I go in there, and this was the first time I went in there. I had like a burger or something, and I had come back. My room was ready, and I went up to my room and I looked for like the menu for like room service or something. They didn't have one. I went downstairs. I got dressed. I went downstairs. I was like, hey, so like there's no water. Like the water coming out of the tap is definitely not drinkable water. I haven't found a menu or anything. Is there any food that I can order? Do you have room service? And they're like, no, we don't have that. Keep in mind, this is a hotel that is like walking distance from Times Square, New York City. This is a hotel that advertises the celebrities, the fancy, Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga. They go to this place, right? But they don't have room service here. Okay. So I said, all right, well, maybe I'll just go back to Connolly's. And they're like, okay. So I go back over to Connolly's. I walk in there, and the lady up front is like, oh, hey, welcome back, because I had, been there earlier. And she's like, you know, there's 100 cops upstairs. And I'm like, okay. And she's looking at me funny, and I'm looking at her funny, like, and she's like, about the badge. And I'm like, the badge? She's like, yes, about the badge. You asked earlier about it, and we're having a party upstairs. It's a bunch of police officers. There's hundreds of them up there. Just thought you should know. And I said, okay, I don't know anything about a badge. And then she looks at me and she's like, oh, you weren't here earlier? And I was like, well, yeah, I was here earlier, but I don't think I'm the person you think I am. And she's like, well, were you in here asking about somebody who lost their badge? And I was like, no. And then we both started laughing because, like, I don't know where she's coming from with this. Like, oh, there's 100 cops upstairs. I'm thinking, oh shit, like, what kind of bullshit did I find myself in this time? Because people always say, oh, you look like that person. And I'm like, no. And people are like, oh, weren't you at this place at that time? And I'm like, no, that wasn't me. I wasn't even in that country at that time. I've never even been to that state. Thank you very much. But thanks for thinking about me before ever even meeting me, I guess. So yeah, that was a thing. Turns out there was somebody who lost their badge, and somebody found their badge and was trying to get it back to the person who lost their badge. And I guess that person looked exactly like me. All right. Um, yeah, yeah, it was wild. The event itself was great. I had a great time. There was some drama initially about somebody. First they wouldn't let me in the pool, and I was like, well, hold up. Like this is what the event advertised, and I'm showing the event host what it says, and they're like, oh well, that's not our page. I'm like, what do you mean? And then she was like, oh well, somebody put up a fake event page and was selling fake tickets. So then like her boss comes over and he's talking to me. He's like, yes, yeah, somebody did something illegal. I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about that. Are my tickets good? Like the ticket that I bought, is that valid? Because like they had checked me in. I had the little, wristband thing. And they're like, yeah, you're good. I'm like, okay, so I didn't buy a fake ticket. And they're like, no, you did not buy a fake ticket. I'm like, okay, cool. All right, cool. Let's work forward from that. So they were telling me that somebody keeps creating fake event pages on social media sites, advertising their event, but selling tickets that don't go to their event. And I said, okay, that's fine and well. I would like to go in the pool with my friends now. And they eventually, I don't want to go into too much detail, but we hashed it out. There was some confusion about who was allowed at the event, who wasn't allowed at the event. I suppose my appearance can be confusing, ambiguous, or androgynous, or unintentionally misleading. We sorted it out. I had a great time. I had a really great time, made lots of new friends, and ended up actually going to another one of their events just recently at Bolmar, which I was going to do a separate video about that, but I feel like, you know what, might as well just include it in this one, get two birds with one stone. It is happening again. Yeah, Bolmar, laser tag. That was an amazing time. Met a lot of amazing people. The only difficult part of that entire situation was getting from Penn to the Chelsea Pier on foot because the train was delayed. We got stuck in this void of nothingness, and none of the doors worked, so they had to be opened and closed manually. There was all this noise, and it was nuts. But once I got there and we were waiting on laser tag, it took them a while to actually get the laser tag set up. We go in there and then we watch the video, we put the vests on, we go into the room, and everyone's blue. And we're all just shooting each other because, like, we're on the same team. And we're like, okay, that's kind of wild. The guy organizing the laser tag, I guess he works there, sounds like Mike Tyson with 2 hours of sleep. So nobody can understand what he's saying. But everyone feels for the man because clearly he's not being paid enough. He doesn't, he's not working with top tier laser tag equipment. Like, there's lights missing, there's stuff that's broken, some of the guns don't work, some of the body armor doesn't register properly, So it keeps saying, game over, proceed the exit, and then it'll start up again. And so we're all just like hanging out by the exit, and we're all blue, and we're all just like, wow, this is great. Finally, I was like, hey, maybe she should unplug it and plug it back in again. Maybe they should, turn it off and turn it back on again. Like, just a thought. And they were like, yeah. And then they did that and it worked. Everything worked after that, except for, like, the broken vests and the broken gun. Like, we were actually red and blue. So the first match that we played was pretty cool. I hadn't played laser tag in 20 years, at least. Like, I was 10 when I played laser tag last. But I rocked it. I was day glow, and apparently I won a prize. I apparently kicked serious ass. I was in second place. My team won. I basically carried most of my team. And when I came out, they're like, who's Dayglow? Who's Dayglow? Who's Eclipse? Who's Dayglow? And I'm like, Dayglow? I'm Dayglow. And then, what's her name, walked up to me and gave me this free drink token and said, congratulations, you won. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I ended up giving it to Taryn, or I never know how to say this person's name. Person's cool as hell, though. Taryn, or however you say their name. The coolest, most put together, like, straight out of a fucking, I don't know, this dude has like a style about them. It's so hard to explain. But anyway, I gave it to them. I was like, here, I'm not looking to drink. I work tomorrow. You can have this. And I was talking with them. I was talking with this girl named Mickey, who is actually really good at laser tag. There's a few people that are really good at laser tag that, like, I didn't know they were that good because they kept getting, like, unlucky and getting a gun that doesn't work, or getting like a shitty piece of equipment that doesn't do what it's supposed to. But the second and third time we played, I came in third place, and I think third time we played, I came in fourth, because we played 3 times. And Eclipse, which was this girl who was actually at the pool party, she was just, like, amazing. Like, she was like a pint-sized assassin. Like, this girl was, like, really skinny, really short, but she was, like, cartwheeling, like, not literally cartwheeling, but, like, she was zipping around this place. And I think she was the only other person, except for Mickey and Serena, that was, like, quicker on the draw than me, which was impressive. But I had a lot of fun. I was, like, ducking behind things and using cover, and it was like a fucking NPC in Max Payne 3, like the one in the church where like you can't actually get them until you like go up the stairs or some shit. It was like that. It was great. It was wild. Um, I ended up getting home at like 2:30 in the morning, and then going to sleep, and then waking up, and then going to work. So I'm probably going to go to more of these events in the future. I just, it's not that it's expensive. I mean, it's like a $20 ticket. It's, a $12 ticket for the train two ways, and, maybe $8 parking. The issue is time. It's like a 60-minute ride. And especially, this isn't on weekends. It's like Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, or it's like Thursday and Friday nights, right? So it's rough. It's rough. Um, but I will go to more events in the future, especially if they have like more laser tag and more pool parties. I want to go to the game night. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been having lots of fun, meeting new people, making friends, having wacky conversations. Things are doing pretty good.